call to order the meeting of Monday, May 24th, and if you'd stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and thank you, Councilmember Pemberton, because he brought it to my attention. We've been on Zoom for so long that we neglected to do it at the last meeting when we met in person, so I won't forget again.
It's hard getting back to normal.
It is, absolutely. If the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz. Mayor Rep.
Here. You have the minutes before you from the regular meeting of May the 10th and the special meeting of May the 11th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support. Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Mosherak. Is there any changes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We have a presentation on the agenda tonight. If the clerk would please read it.
Representatives on behalf of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police will present the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission Award to the Port Huron Police Department.
Good evening,
Good evening.
council members, city officials. My name is Bob Stevenson, Executive Director with the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. It's my honor to represent our association tonight to award the Certificate of Reaccreditation to the Port Huron Police Department. It seems like just yesterday that we were here making our original award, but it was actually 3 years ago. When we were here 3 years ago, you were, I believe, the fourth city in this whole state of Michigan to achieve accreditation. That's out of 600 police departments, a significant accomplishment. So we're here 3 years later to award your Certificate of Reaccreditation. The program has moved forward, but you're still in rear company. You're the third police department to achieve reaccreditation. We've now grown. We have approximately 36 accredited agencies. We're up to 90 agencies that are involved in the process. We've had over 200 agencies explore the program. And it is a very significant achievement, especially in light of everything that's taking place across the country. And the thing that you may not realize is a lot of the things that people talk about in police reform that needs to be done, your city's already done that. And your city did that before all this was taking place. They were proactive as opposed to reactive. And I hope that you have as much pride in your department as I do in your department to be able to come here, because I go around the state and I see police departments, and there's all good departments, and there's excellent police departments. And yours is in that excellent police department range because they're proactive. And under the guidance of Chief Platzer, we're here. It's a great accomplishment. I'm going to turn it over to our accreditation program manager, Chief Neil Rosso, to explain a little bit more about the program and how you achieve that reaccreditation.
Thanks,
Chief?
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Neil Rosso. One time I was somebody here. It's really an honor for me to come back here and give this award because although my agency seems to be being run by a bunch of very young people, it's a very talented group. I've known Joe Platzer and Marcy and the captain for a long, long time. So briefly what accreditation is, Reader's Digest version is, we have 108 standards. Those standards are basically national and state best practices. And like Bob said before, a lot of things are requiring or asking police departments to do in this time that we're dealing with in American policing is duty to intervene. We have that bias-based policing. So your agency has met that. So we have those 108 standards. Most of them require a written directive or a policy and procedure, as they call them here. The policy and procedure has to meet that standard, the written directive, and then they provide us proof. So when I say they provide us, they provide two strangers that come in here that not only are they're following the written directive that follows the standard. So it's a big deal. I always say I've got to do some pretty neat things as a police officer during my lifetime. But coming to a municipality, especially one that I still live in, and affirming that they don't just think they have a good police department, they have a great police department. So They met those standards. When I give the original accreditation or we present that, I always say there's a promise made. But when you get reaccredited, it's a promise kept. So most of the issues that the agencies have when they're working for that reaccreditation is felt there. So it's truly an honor for me to be here, to come back to my own house and help present this. So with that, the President of the Michigan Association of Police, Chief Ron Wiles, will come up for the presentation.
Well, good evening, and thank you very much. My name is Ron Wiles. I'm the Chief of Police in Grand Blanc Township, which is up in Genesee County, but I'm also the President of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. It is certainly something to become accredited, but it is something totally different to become reaccredited, and you should be very proud of your police department. Chief Platzer and his team, I'm sure they've seen the benefits of accreditation in their community, and that's just it. It benefits the community and the department. So, Chief, congratulations. On behalf of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police and the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, to all who see the certificate, know that the Port Huron Police Department, having voluntarily complied with the standards established by the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, deemed essential for the delivery of professional police services and the protection of their community, is hereby awarded the Certificate of Accreditation, effective of this first day of March, year 2021, for a term of 3 years. Chief, congratulations.
Port Huron.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to thank the committee for their reaccreditation. Again, I'll take the award on behalf of the men and women of the Port Huron Police Department. I mean, they're the ones out there doing the job every day to make us look good and following the policies and procedures that we have in place. I'd also like to thank my executive team back here, Assistant Chief Kewen, Captain Kerrigan, and Supervisor Kaniski. If it wasn't for Gail, this process wouldn't go as smoothly as it does. She's the real hero behind the program. She keeps us on track and keeps us online to make sure that we're getting our accreditation. So as long as I am chief, and I know chiefs to follow, we'll keep the accreditation process because it's near and dear to my heart. And like I say, it sets us out from other agencies in St. Clair County. And I'm proud to say that we're the only agency in St. Clair County that has the accreditation standard here. So thank you.
Well, congratulations. We're very proud of the police department that we have, and it's a credit to you and to everyone that works in that department. So thank you. And congratulations. Does anyone else want to add anything to that? I think you covered it.
That
I think I
sums it up.
covered it. Yeah.
Well, you know me, congratulations. Congratulations, and we're not just saying this like a pat on the back, but when you've earned something, you don't have to go that far with a lot of language. You know what, because the proof is in the pudding, really, because you guys do a bang-up job. Yes, go Port Huron Police Department.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You can clap again. Thanks, Rosso.
In 3 years.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, no, we got a spot on the wall. Yep.
We now have public comment. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the city council this evening, please come forward with your name and address, and you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I'd just like to make a few short comments tonight about the budget process that you're doing tonight. You know, it's kind of a record thing now and stuff, but, you know, all negotiating groups have settled contracts and stuff, which leads us to a nice point. But as I was going through the line item budget, though, the other day, I looked at it and I thought it was kind of maybe just kind of a miscue, and I didn't have a chance to it. But I understand our bridge officers who run the bridges in the city of Port Huron are not included any wage increase under this proposed budget. And, you know, I think they're practically working for minimum wage, and I just think that with the dedication they have, and some of them have done it for years, as before as city employees and now as city employees as a retiree. So I just thought I'd draw that to your attention. But the other one that really stood out to me, I looked at the article that was in the Times Herald here, and they talked about the $9 million in COVID money. And I looked on, and I kind of circled it here, and maybe it's just a misprint stuff, but on page 213 of the line item budget, it says that $9,795,000 are going to machinery and equipment for the museum.
What page is that?
And I know as you approach that budget here tonight and stuff, you know, you don't want to have things in there that basically don't seem like right, but it just flashed at me when I went through that, and it, like I say, it's on page 213 of the line item budget, and it's under appropriations, Department 280 Museum Project, and it's project number 540-280-98200, and it's the footnote amount is $9,795,000, and it says the American Rescue Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the city council this evening? Please come forward.
Mayor and Council, Cynthia Cutright, DDA Director, Downtown Port Huron. I'll try and keep my comments close to 4 minutes as possible. We just have a lot going on downtown that I'm excited to share with you. First and foremost, our beautification going on downtown right now. You'll see the flowers coming in our flower beds. That's accredited to the Next Step program through RISA. They've been downtown with us since about October or November, working on some beautification downtown. This is a group of young adults with documented disabilities working on their work-life skills. So they've been downtown with us for a number of months now. Looking forward to celebrating them in June when they graduate this program. You'll additionally have seen, if you've been downtown the past couple of days, the Fallen Heroes banners have gone up. They are beautiful. Each side has a different fallen hero on it, so please, as you're walking downtown, be sure to check both sides of the banners. There are just so many that we wanted to honor here in Port Huron. We had to double up. So be sure to check those out. Just below those banners, if you have a close eye, you will see some new brackets that have gone up. Those are for our hanging flowers that are coming to downtown. Should be next Tuesday or Wednesday when those are being delivered. I wanted to take a moment to also shout out Ben Pionk and the Parks crew for their hard work downtown. They've been downtown several times to help me with those brackets and getting the new banners up. They've done a great job. Additionally, starting June 4th is really the kickoff to our summer downtown. A lot of events going on, 3 sort of events all happening on that June 4th, which is our first Friday, our Shop, Rock, and Stroll, and a new series that we're starting called Live Look, where we're having artists from the Blue Water area physically downtown next to the bands that are playing during Shop, Rock, and Stroll, creating live. So you'll see live paintings, wood carving, wood burning, a lot of really different interesting things will be happening. So June 4th through September 3rd is Shop, Rock, and Stroll every Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. in downtown Port Huron. Feel like there's more, part of that first Friday is a sweet stroll. That's where different local bakers are in all of our retailers downtown, similar to an art hop, but it's the art hop of the desserts world, so that should be really fun. So be sure to check us out on June 4th. Additionally, and last but not least, is our gift card program is kicking off for downtown Port Huron. We have about 20 businesses on board. Our hope was to kick that off in winter, just learning curves, and it's a big program to take on. So it took us a little bit longer to digest it and get ready for it, but we are ready now. You can come purchase your gift card from the DDA office from any amount from $5 to $500. It works just like a Visa gift card at any of our 20 downtown retailers. We're hoping to add more too as this program gets going. So that's it for downtown, but we sure hope to see you this summer downtown in Port Huron.
Thanks, Cynthia. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the council this evening? Seeing no one else, I declare public comment closed, and we'll move on to resolutions. Number 1.
Adopting the capital improvement program for the 2021-22 through 2026-27 fiscal years.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2.
Adopting the annual city budget, including the Downtown Development Authority budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021, and authorizing the levy of the tax millage rates.
Is there a motion?
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, supported by Councilmember Pemberton and Mr. Freed.
Madam Mayor and Council, the $9 million of ARP funds is simply a transfer out to the Land Purchase Fund. Additionally, the bridge tender payroll is dictated by the state of Michigan as they fund the payroll operations for our 3 bridges.
So we have no jurisdiction over the bridge operators? Is that
We
what-
go by the rates that the state of Michigan set for the bridge operations.
All right.
Thank you. Has anybody else got any questions for Mr. Freed about the budget? That's a testimony to a good budget, and you don't have a lot of questions. Then we'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3, please.
Approving the proposal with Tetra Tech of Michigan, P.C. for professional engineering services for improvement to control panel CP4 at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
So moved?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Yes, Mr. Freed.
Madam Mayor and Council, as you remember, we recently engaged Tetra Tech to begin the replacement of control panel 2 and 3. When they went in there and reviewed control panel 4, it's in even worse condition than those 2 are. We aren't able to get parts for it. It controls to the 2 screw pumps. The screw pumps are about the size of a school bus, and they literally look like a screw that just keeps rotating and carries the undesirables up. And so it behooves us to address this issue now before we have a problem.
Any questions for Mr. Freed?
Mayor, I'm just curious, James, and maybe you know the answer. Did they not know about the 4 until they got into the other 2 and then could get a better look? Is that why that, okay?
Exactly.
There's
When
no-
they start getting in there, digging around, they start to be able to have a better understanding of just what the situational awareness is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak,
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald,
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford,
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4.
Approving the city manager's employment agreement effective May 24th, 2021.
Is there a motion?
Support?
Councilmember Mosherak, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to say, it's been a pleasure. I was here when we originally hired you, and I think you've done an exceptional job. Definitely have grown into the position and the community, and I am happy to see you'll be sticking around.
Anyone else have any comments?
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember Pemberton.
I want to echo, I was not here when you started. However, over the last few years, just in the short time I've been on council, you've taken any feedback I've given and run with it, and you've just done an excellent job so far. So I'm excited that you're sticking around.
Anybody else have any comments?
Mayor Rep,
Yes, Councilmember Lamb.
I just would like to make a comment that I think that Port Huron's very fortunate to have a leader such as James, and all that his determination has kept our city above, and it's still going to be a great place to be in. And I do believe it's his persistence that is why that we're at the position that we're at. And I'd also like to say thank you for 6 out of my 7 goals have been addressed or already met, so he is a good listener.
He's gotten much better at that.
I was getting ready to say, she must know something I don't know. I thought
His
you
wife's shaking her head no, that he's not.
I do have, Councilmember Ruiz asked me if I would read his comments tonight. He was unable to make the meeting. Please accept my apology for not attending tonight's meeting. I ask that you share a few comments regarding the agenda item which speaks to the contract between Mr. Freed and the city. In my review of Mr. Freed's proposed contract, it is obvious to me that it warrants approval. I benefit from serving on council for 10 years. During those years, I served as a member of the council that hired Mr. Freed. This has allowed me to be a witness to his continued growth as city manager. The review of a person's job performance is a unique challenge. During my 20-plus years as a school administrator, the evaluation of teachers, fellow administrators, and support staff was an assigned duty. Always noted in the evaluation process are the degrees of growth, improvement of required skills, and positive interaction with others. This is, of course, a condensed listing of requirements. Mr. Freed has demonstrated success and improvement in all areas of his job requirements. Mr. Freed has responded in a positive manner to earlier reviews and suggestions. In recent months of service on council, it is obvious to me that this pattern of progress is still ongoing. I am confident that with our new agreement, Mr. Freed will meet all future challenges with the same resolve and managerial skills. He is not an average city manager in any way. In my opinion, his new contract should be approved as it is well-deserved. Should we approve, our good city will continue to move forward. Domingo Ruiz. And then I'll add my comments to everybody else and just say you're certainly very deserving of a continued agreement, and we're happy to have you. And you've made great strides over the last few years, and you certainly do deserve this contract. So, thank you.
And James, I would just like to say, in the spirit of continuous improvement, that there's always a lot of room that you still, I see you as still needing some more continuous improvement, but it doesn't negate the fact that you have done a considerable, effective job in the areas, particularly your financial skill sets and your talents, and just your enthusiasm and trying to go get it. And a lot of times you'd be flying on a cloud, and I said, there he goes, flying up there, and pull you down. But you know I'm going to tell you the truth about things, and I respect that you take that like it is, because it is what I see from my perspective a whole lot of times. But like I said, I just think there's a lot of things, in the growth area, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job. It just means that you're not there yet. None of us are. We're still on a learning path, always waking up daily, trying to do what we can do better today, from yesterday. And you do that. You put your best foot forward when you try at it. So I just want to thank you very much for what you do for the city of Port Huron.
You look like you want to make a comment.
Yeah, I just want to say, I thank you very much for the opportunity to serve. I still remember very vividly my first day walking into the office on the 4th floor. It is a remarkably intimidating office when you first walk into it, especially coming from a smaller community. And I remember the way the office sits, the westerly window looks out over the city, and in the distance, you can see a water tower, and that water tower is on the corner of Allen and Griswold Road, where I grew up. And I remember my first day sitting in the chair, looking out over the city and seeing that water tower, thinking to myself, how in the world does a poor kid from Kimball Township end up sitting in the city manager's chair at 29 years old? And that's an American story. I remember the Old Testament words of Mordecai to his good friend, for who but knows that you've been placed here for such a time as this. The last 7 years have brought moments and challenges I could not foresee and will not forget. I tried jotting down all the significant challenges that we had to address together. I couldn't imagine doing it without a leadership team behind me. We have amazing department heads. They are the top titans in their field of industries. I count on their expertise. I think back to Bob Clegg, who had an immense role in guiding me my first 2 years here. Sue Child, who did an amazing job in the clerk's office before Cindy. Kim Harmer, who is still with us, an amazing grant writer. We had Chief Reeves, who was an excellent police chief, who really showed me the ropes of how public safety works, followed by Chief Baker, and now Chief Platzer. My friend Jim. I miss my friend Jim. Jim Brennan was a strong advisor and just that quiet voice on the rough times. You could go up and talk to Jim. He would talk sense into you. I really miss Jim. I asked a lot of the employees. I asked them to believe me that there was an iceberg in front of us and that the ship was going to hit it. And not only did they believe me, but they gave me the room necessary to move this ship around it. They did a lot of sacrifices and a lot of trust, and that's one thing I'm most proud of, is our collective bargaining agreements that saved the city more than $100 million. We now save almost $6 million annually. It didn't just happen. Most cities have not achieved what we've achieved. And I think that's a testament to our good working relationship, our trust, and our trust in each other. And for that, I'm most proud of. To all of you for the opportunity to continue to serve, I am forever grateful. It's been a hard 7 years. To the citizens of Port Huron, I appreciate your grace, your confidence, and your understanding during complex times and complex issues, standing with us through the millages. It's very unheard of in a time to have 2 millages pass like that. It was a collective grand bargain the city has made between its workers, its residents, and its council elected officials. I'm very proud of that. I'm a bit chubbier and far more gray than I was when I took this job, but the fire in the belly and my passion to serve this community has never been stronger. I now have a daughter who lives here with my lovely wife, and I'm now building a community for her. And what kind of parks she's going to play in, what kind of streets she's going to walk down, what kind of school she's going to go to. This is where we're going to raise our kid and have our family. And on that note, I'd like to lastly thank my wife. At a very young age, I signed up for the derisions of public life. She did not. She inherited it. But she has stood by me and been that constant support. The late night meetings, the walks with families, which includes phone calls and numerous department heads and elected officials, the vacations where the email never gets shut off. She has been understanding and graceful, and I assure you that I would not have lasted more than a year or so here without her. So Jesse, thank you for your support. This is the greatest honor of my life. I can think of no greater honor and privilege. It is the most humbling thing. And I've always said that if our courage is strong and our spirit is right, the people of this city will stand with us. So thank you.
Thank you. And we will take the vote.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
That was good.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yep.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. You are still employed. We will move on to item 5.
Authorizing the levy of the operating tax rate for the Blue Water Area Transportation Commission as authorized by the voters on May 5th, 2020, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021.
Is there a motion?
Support.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Lamb. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to ask my fellow council members to support this, because merely is just simply recognizing the 4-year millage, as you so said, that we passed in 2020 of last year. And at the same time, I'd like to, we appreciate the continued support of us as a council and also the community for the essential support of the Blue Water Area Transportation Center.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. Item 6, please.
Authorizing $15,000 to Second Wave Media to provide coverage in the Kiel, Port Huron, to devote awareness of vaccine hesitancy issues in the city of Port Huron.
Is there a motion? Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Lamb.
Madam Mayor and Council, in previous years, this is a grand partnership with the Community Foundation, Private Enterprise, SC4, the county. Everyone has funded this for the last 3 years. It's done remarkably well. It's connected with Model D in Detroit, with the Rapid in Grand Rapids and Bay City. We have paid for it in previous years with mitigation dollars. It's essentially what they focused on was on telling our story. No offense to the Times Herald, but they cover hard-hitting news. This covers people in place and culture. You're not going to go to the Kiel to find out what happened at the council meeting last night. You will go to the Kiel to find out who the artist is working in a bar who's really contributing to the culture, who the person working this nonprofit is. It's really about people, place, and culture. So we funded out of mitigation dollars. I left that out of your budget this year because there's no more mitigation dollars. And as you all know how stingy Ed is, we didn't want to put it in the general budget line. However, we met with all of our stakeholders, and with the coronavirus, which nobody expected, and the economic fallout moving forward, we all met, and everyone's going to renew for another year. We can pay for our American Rescue Plan dollars. It's only $15,000. What they're going to focus is on, one, promoting the vaccines and getting vaccinated, addressing issues of vaccine hesitancy, but also going to our small businesses and telling their stories, letting people know what small businesses are downtown, what they offer, how they're doing, people, place, and culture. If it's ever been more important to get these small businesses to the forefront, it's now. What's important about the Keel is it's not necessarily targeted towards a local audience. We all know how great Casey's is. We all know how great Pompeii's is. We all know how great the museum is. We know how great the lighthouse is. If you look at the demographics I attached, it's telling our story to the broader region and the state. We don't need to know how great these places are, but the people in Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne, and Genesee, and Washtenaw really do. The people in Kent County really do. So we're trying to tell our story to the broader state of Michigan. So if a lot of people say, well, I don't read the Keel, well, it's probably because you didn't log on to Model D and see our story linked next to one of their local stories. So it's a very different strategy. That's why we have the CVB, the county, the community foundation, and all these different partners partnering in on it, because we're trying to target a different audience. We really want to bring people to our community to tell them, hey, there's a great restaurant downtown. Hey, there's a great marina downtown. Hey, there's a great arts and culture scene thriving. One thing we've learned during COVID is how many amazing artists and musicians and things we have here in our community. Everyone says, why don't we have a music scene? Why don't we have an art scene? Well, we do. You just have to know where to find it and who to connect with. And so we really want to focus on that. So that's why I have brought this for you tonight. It'll be paid for out of American Rescue Plan dollars, not general fund dollars, and then we can reevaluate this next year.
Thank you. Any questions?
Sometimes I like to leave things out of the budget, so if we want to go for them, we have to give them more of a second glance type thing, like, is this really what we want to do for another year? So that's the reason why it's separated from everything else. Kick the tires a little harder.
Any questions for Mr. Freed?
No, I think it makes a lot of sense to reach out. You always don't reach from within. In order to get your message across, you have to touch those out here to bring them in closer to what we have to offer. So I agree with that wholeheartedly, yeah.
Nothing else? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 7.
Approving the 5-year interlocal agreement with Oakland County to provide information technology services for the courts and law enforcement management information system, commonly known as CLEMIS.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Ashford, and go ahead.
This is not a new contract. This is essentially a renewal of the contract we already had. We switched to CLEMIS several years ago. It was a project that Chief Reeves initiated, and it really brought us into the 21st century. I mean, economies of scale, when you have big counties and big groups partnering together, we get better information technology, better ticket writing, everything from printing a ticket to writing a ticket to all of our investigation files and all of our crime reports. It really is a tremendous software. If we didn't go with CLEMIS, we would have to create an alternative, which would be more expensive and not as well done. So this just goes to show that regional collaboration on these types of nit and gritty basics for functions of government really do make a difference. And so proud to be a part of the collective group that is pulling this off, and I believe Platzer, you still like it? Okay, still likes it.
Any questions? Take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes?
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, and that concludes our regular agenda. A couple announcements. The city offices will be closed on May 31st in observance of Memorial Day. And also I'd like to take a moment, as was mentioned earlier, about the fallen hero banners that are downtown. I'd like to publicly thank Ed Weichler for all the work he did toward that project. he's very much a go-getter. If he gets his teeth into something, he goes. So we do very much appreciate what he put forth to that project. Did you have something you wanted to add to that, James? Or are you just going to say something?
I was going to say something else.
Oh, well, then wait a second. And I just want to tell everyone to have a good and safe Memorial Day weekend. It is our first summer weekend, although the weather doesn't look like it's going to be very promising. It still is our first long weekend of the summer, so everybody have a good time and a safe time.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to echo that and say thank you and congratulations to Ed and all those involved in the Fallen Heroes. I did speak to him today and relayed to him personally the impact even I felt as I drove through town and I looked at all of those banners, and I know they brought them here and we got to see them, but seeing them hanging throughout the streets and looking at all of the faces of all of the fallen heroes brought chills to me. It was most impressive. I know it was a lot of work. They spent a lot of time on that, and I wanted him to know and everyone else to know it doesn't go unnoticed. What a fabulous project, and I hope they carry it out throughout the state like he is hoping.
Anybody else before we have comments from Mr. Freed?
What are we just talking about, the fallen?
Anything?
Oh, anything? Oh, I would like to thank our police department for the training that we went through earlier this,
The Milo
the
training?
Milo training. I only killed one person, I wasn't supposed to. But you know what, I know there's a lot of talk about our law enforcement and, you know, in the black community and everything. But, you know, I noticed something really different when I was going through that. And when we have such a heartburn about how many times you got shot, when I got ready to shoot the gun, my gosh, Pauline was there. It just went off automatically about 6 or 7 times, you know. It's a simulation that they give you, and it was real life scenarios that we took. And I just think that we as people, regardless what color you are, you know, it's the what am I trying to say? It's the way the job is done that we have to learn a better appreciation for what they go through and what they have to undertake as being officers. It's not as black and white as we say, and it's not gray either. But it was really profounding to me because I thought about that, you know, Chief Platcher after I left, and your officers did a wonderful job with taking us through everything. I mean, they didn't miss a step. They act like we had training and we were stepping into something, you know, not like Councilmember Asher or Mayor Rep. It was live, you know, and I was just amazed. And actually, and I just went back and I had a group meeting and I told some other people that too. And they said, my God, you guys purchased that system? You know, I said, yeah. I thought, you know, you want to try to get this, you know, for in your area to do that. So even if you don't go through the training, you guys should Google it and just see what it's all about, because I think that is one of the greatest investments we ever made, you know, besides the body cams and whatever. But you can say, you can give the people the right tools, but you got to have the right heart to use it and the mind to use it, you know, because you make the difference. You're the person that's going to be behind, you know, executing, you know, that what happens, and that brings you to want to do the right thing. So I appreciate it. I know you guys must have, because you just couldn't step in there and not appreciate what they do and how you have to think about those things. So just thank you, Chief, really.
It was a great experience to do that. And we had a few laughs at it, too.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a great experience.
Yeah, and I know why she was a city clerk and now she's the mayor, because she had no business being behind no God. Well, you did some great damage, and I'm going to blackmail you too for that.
Anyways, go.
I wish I could have been at the training, but I was busy with bond calls. But I don't know what happened at that training, but Platzer came in and he was just ready to swear you all in as officers. He said, you worked 24 years only to be shown up by a bunch of council members, so congratulations on a job well done. No, I just remembered, there was one person I didn't thank, and I don't want to be having to wear a bulletproof vest tomorrow, so I want to take a moment to thank Cynthia. She was hired on as my executive assistant several years ago. She came from the Senate, Michigan Senate, as a legislative staffer. Before that, she worked for the Michigan Bankers Association. When I hired my executive assistant, I never knew that I would be walking the halls of the Capitol in the middle of the night trying to get legislative reforms done for pension bonding and OPEB bonding. So I think God kind of aligned that just right, that I hired an executive assistant, and then within a year, I was desperately calling on her to figure out, how does a bill become a law? Can we play some Schoolhouse Rock? Where's the committee meeting? Who's the committee chair? From bill tracking to all these things, we couldn't have done it without her. And she clearly was underutilized, and now we have promoted her up, and she's doing just a rock star job as our DDA director. And soon, I'm sure she'll put me out of a job. So thank you, Cynthia, for all your hard work. I could have not done the last few years without you.
Thank you. Is there anything else? If there isn't, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.